What's up, everybody? We're back. This is Pokemon Radical Red Hardcore mode. Making our way through the Elite Four. We got past Lorelei. We beat her Rain team. We beat her Hail team. We got past Bruno and his Urshifu team. And we have finally arrived against what is now the hardest Elite Four member, in my opinion, by far. And I'm not even just saying that to hype up the video. But here we are. Agatha, the hardest Elite Four member yet by far. But just like the rest of the battles in the Elite Four, it's all matchup dependent. It depends on what kind of team you bring into the Elite Four. One battle can be easier or harder than the other depending on your team, but for whatever reason, my team struggled against Agatha. This was a horrible matchup. Maybe it's just because I suck, but either way, here we go. Agatha leads with the Crocodile, and we're going to lead with Iron Moth. Agatha sets up a permanent Psychic Terrain, and what this means is no priority moves. And for a battle like this is detrimental, considering how important priority moves are. First turn, we're going to attack with the Energy Ball. It's super effective, and we are running a Choice Scarf on Iron Moth here, which is going to give us a speed boost, but we're now locked into Energy Ball. Crocodile always sets up Stealth Rocks on the first turn. There's not much we can do about that. We're locked into Energy Ball anyway. We're going to fire off a second one and finish off Crocodile. Now, Crocodile is holding a Focus Sash, so it's gonna take two regardless. That's why we sacrifice a power boosting held item for speed, because it's gonna take two energy balls on that first turn either way, and that speed boost is gonna come in handy later, hopefully. Alright, so Calorex's Shadow comes out next, and this is not a good matchup for Iron Moth. We predict that he goes for a Psychic type move, and we've got just the Pokemon to deal with him. So we're gonna switch Iron Moth out for Kingambit. We're gonna take Rocks damage, and unfortunately we're gonna have to deal with this all match. Calyrex goes for the Expanding Force as predicted, and Kingambit is immune. We've got a perfect safe switch in. Calyrex still outspeeds us though. He hits us with the Astral Barrage. We type resist, and Kingambit takes it like a champ. It deals less than half damage. We can't use Sucker Punch now under Psychic Terrain, so we're going to have to settle for Kowtow Cleave. It's 4 times super effective against Calyrex. He negates some of the damage with the Colbur Berry, but it's not enough to save him. It goes down in one shot. Kingambit is our designated Calyrex counter here. That thing is super dangerous. If you let it keep getting its Grim Nigh boost from its ability, it can totally take off and run away with the whole match. Next, Agatha sends out Yveltal, and this thing is probably her most difficult Pokemon to deal with. The problem is we just don't have a solid answer to it on our team. None of our Pokemon are really a solid answer to deal with this Yveltal, so this is going to be one of the Pokemon that we struggle the most to deal with. We get off a Sucker Punch. Yveltal is not affected by Psychic Terrain because it is a flying type. We just want to get off some last-minute chip damage, and it deals a decent amount despite being not very effective. Kingambit plus the Life Orb hits pretty hard. But we're going to let Kingambit go down to the Heat Wave, and now we'll at least be able to get some better positioning and a clean switch into Dragonite. We're not affected by the rocks, luckily, so our multi-scale is still intact, and this is a pretty neutral matchup. We want to hit him with as much damage as we can, but we predict the U-turn. Unfortunately, that is going to break our multi-scale, but this is why we didn't go for Outrage, because there's always the possibility of Flutter Mane making an entrance. And Flutter Mane is a fairy type, so he would not have been affected by Outrage at all. We go for our next best option, which is Dual Wing Beat. We hit both shots, but unfortunately just fall shy of the KO. Flutter Mane hanging out just barely with like 2 HP. And this is bad that we weren't able to finish him off. Because Flutter Mane is faster, we're going to have to tank and attack here, and Dragonite does not want to eat a Moonblast. Our multi-scale is broken, which means we're going to tank the full super effective damage, and that's not going to be pretty for Dragonite. So the smart play here is to switch into someone who can tank a Moonblast, and that's going to be Iron Moth. Iron Moth is a fire poison type, which means we quad resist the fairy type Moonblast. We predict it right, we tank the Moonblast, and this is going to deal like no damage to Iron Moth. Again, we 4 times resist that fairy type move. And now that we got Iron Moth in safely, we are equipped with a Choice Scarf, which means we should be guaranteed to outspeed here, and we'll be able to finish him off with one more attack, but it looks like Flutter Mane outspeeds us. How are we slower with the Choice Scarf? Flutter Mane goes for the Psyshock, which is super effective against Iron Moth, and we go down to the Psyshock. And this is crazy. Flutter Mane did get a speed boost from its Booster Energy, but Booster Energy only gives a 1.2 times multiplier, whereas Choice Scarf gives a 1.5 times multiplier. So there's no way I thought that we would get outsped there. And this is really bad. We need to save our other Pokemon for later. The only Pokemon that we're going to be able to use to deal with this Flutter Mane is Dragonite, which means we're going to have to tank a full power Moonblast. It's up to Dragonite to tank the attack. He holds on with 12 HP like a champ, and we're able to get off one final attack to to take out the Flutter Mage. And this is really bad. Dragonite may have been a misplay there, and we see the Mewtwo come out next. And usually, we like to use Dragonite to deal with Mewtwo here because Mewtwo's going to go ahead and Mega Evolve into Mega Mewtwo X. And Mega Mewtwo X gains the fighting typing. So normally this is a great matchup for Dragonite with utilizing its dual wing beat and being super effective, but we're not even going to get the chance to as we go down to the Drain Punch. Now half of our team is gone. We're down to our final 3 Pokemon, and Agatha has a huge lead on us. If we want to get back in the game, we're going to have to make some risky plays here. We bring out Wobbuffet to save the day. Now Mewtwo will either go for Stone Edge or Bulk Up. Mewtwo goes for Stone Edge and we dodge, but this is fine. As long as Mewtwo doesn't start setting up bulk ups, Wobbuffet should be able to handle this no problem. The Stone Edge connects, but luckily we dodge the crit, we heal a little bit from the Citrus Berry, and when we fire back with this counter, it's going to hit pretty hard. And using Wobbuffet against Mewtwo here is always risky. If Mewtwo decided to set up with bulk ups instead, that'd pretty much be GG at that point. But luckily, he did decide to attack with Stone Edge, and Wobbuffet was able to retaliate, take him out in one shot with the counter. Alright, Victini comes out next, and we may just be able to get back in the game with this next move. Victini's first move, he almost always goes for the Z-Power Celebrate. And what Z Celebrate does is it gives him an Omni Boost, basically, in all stats. So he is now +1 in speed, attack, defense, etc. We just burn a turn while he sets up the Z Celebrate, but he's gonna attack this time. He goes for the Pyro Ball. This is a physical move. If only Wobbuffet's able to survive, which we do, we catch a burn, but that doesn't matter. We get off a second counter right in Victini's face, and this is gonna one-shot him as well. By the way, guys, at the time of recording, it is my birthday, November 19th. Wouldn't rather spend it any other way. So listen, if you guys want to wish your boy a happy birthday, remember to like this video, hit that subscribe button as well, and let's get to 1K by the end of the year. Alright, last but definitely not least, the dreaded Yveltal comes back out as Agatha's last Pokemon. Wobbuffet has done enough here, taking out 2 of her Pokemon. A crazy, insane comeback, but it's not over yet. We're going to let him fall to the dark hole, but we've still got this monster to get through first. Now, we've still got 2 Pokemon left to deal with Yveltal, but both of our Pokemon are a bad matchup for Yveltal. This thing just has insane coverage, but we're going to bring out Melmetal and hope for the best. Predicting we're going to have to tank a Heat Wave here, but he goes for the Dark Hole instead. This is still going to deal massive damage, and it also has a 40% chance to put us to sleep. And if Melmetal falls asleep here, this match is over. At first, I was worried about a Heat Wave burn, but now that we see the Dark Hole come out, sleep would be even worse. But as it turns out, we were prepared for this exact moment. We've got a Lumberry, regardless of whether it was a sleep or a burn. We wake up, we're cured from our status ailments, and we're able to get off the Double Iron Bash. Now, it's not going to be enough to take him out, but it was so important that we were not only able to survive the attack, but we got through sleep as well. We get off the big damage, but Yveltal just barely hangs on with like not even 2 HP. Yveltal goes for the Oblivion Wing. Now we are going to type resist, but we already are at such low HP. Melmetal actually is able to survive the attack on 4 HP, and we got off another Double Iron Bash. Insane. And we got so lucky that Melmetal survived that Oblivion Wing, because if he didn't, we'd have to bring in Alakazam, and the only move that Alakazam has that deals at least neutral damage to Yveltal is Focus Blast. Psychic doesn't affect it at all. Shadow Ball wouldn't deal enough damage. Energy Ball wouldn't deal enough damage either, so we'd have the whole match riding on a 70% accurate Focus Blast. But luckily it didn't come down to that. Melmetal pulling through for us, absolutely clutch in the end, and that's GG Elite Four Agatha. But we gotta give props to the true MVP of this battle, Wobbuffet, and we needed a lot of things to go right along the way, but Wobbuffet being able to take out 2 of her Pokemon to turn the tides of this battle was insane. But this has got to be the craziest comeback we've ever seen on this channel. Leave a comment if you think so. But that's it for this one, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Hope you're all looking forward to Lance, who is alleged to be even stronger than Agatha, the strongest Elite Four member. And as always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.